Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Blind Gooner, and welcome to a late preview today. Listen, it's like 9 p.m. here in the UK, and this preview's coming to you quite late, simply because it's just been a bit of a mad day and trying to fit it in. I know other people have been doing a lot of other streams, so yeah, trying to fit it in. But here we are at 9 p.m., and I hope you're all having a wonderful Friday evening. The pub's open tomorrow here in the UK, so I'm sure those of you that are in the UK is probably looking forward to that, although there is a lot of restrictions still in place when you are going to pubs and that. So it's not going to be, you're not going to be able to just march in and have a drink. All the protocols is ridiculous. It's like being in prison. But listen, it is what it is. And most importantly, there's a game tomorrow, and we are playing Wolves. And yeah, we're going to be previewing the game. We're going to be going through Arteta's press conference, and yeah, also we're going to be covering, because there's been a bit of news today. Martinelli has signed a new long-term deal, which is brilliant because finally Arsenal are starting to act like a big club in signing up these players. You know, the other day on Wednesday with Bukayo Saka, and now Martinelli, which is fantastic. He's a real prospect. He's done really well this season, and it's great to see that he has put pen to paper on a new long-term deal. And I've got a guest with me this evening. An unexpected guest, because I thought he was having the night off. Simpy, how are you, Simpy?
Yeah, I was just sitting there on the sofa. I was like, should I go on or should I leave it? Should I go on or should I leave it? And then I was like, you know what, I'll just jump on. So yeah, I'm good, thanks, Daniel. Looking forward to the weekend, and looking forward to tomorrow's game, but it's the first game that's actually scaring me. So let's see how it goes.
Yeah, and big up every one of you watching live. Listen, I'm closing in on 1,040 subscribers. I think I'm at 137. So yeah, do subscribe if you're new to the channel. Let's keep this channel moving forward. And yeah, listen, big up everybody in the chat, and thank you for watching. Thank you for watching on the watch-alongs as well. On Wednesday, listen, it was a great watch-along. We got the result, and hopefully we can do the same tomorrow. So remember, do smash a like on this video. Yeah, listen, also we've got Nitesh joining us. He's going to be joining us very shortly. And we also have Ryan Fletcher from the Mr. Arsenal podcast. So do go and subscribe to him as well. Give him a follow. Listen, he's a great guy with great content. So yeah, do go and check out his channel. And obviously with Nitesh, go and check out Arsenal FC Fans Facebook page. Go and check that out as well. Go and give that a like. I would really appreciate that. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the preview. And Simpy, you've got Arteta's press conference up there. So if you share your screen,
Yep.
and I will add it in.
Okay, I've got it.
There we go. Your screen should be in now.
Okay, yeah. So, title of this section is "They're a complicated side, difficult to beat." So there's a video there. I'm obviously not going to play the video. And so one of the main things I've been saying to people as well is we may have won 3 games on the bounce, but Mikel Arteta knows we're in for a major examination at Wolves on Saturday, which we all know is not a good place to go to. It's not a good place to play them at home anyway, in general, as they're a really good side. They're in great form at the moment, and they've been scoring goals and not conceding many. So that's how we do. So yeah, he said there's a couple of stuff asked to him about on Wolves not being the surprise package anymore, because obviously we've seen how good they've been over the past few seasons. Then on the challenge from Wolves, the managers created the perfect environment for the players. They didn't have very big expectations, but with their performances and their consistency, they've gained respect from all the teams in the league. They compete really well, really clear game plan of how they want to expose their opponent, very solid defensively, and with some really good talent in forward positions that can win a game at any moment, a very complicated side. So one of the two most deadly players, I'd say, within the Wolves team, there's a bunch of them, but two of the main deadly ones. So Arteta was asked about Raul Jimenez and Traore. So they link with each other really well, understanding their movement, their partnership that they have. They're a big threat. So yeah, just mentioned about Raul settling in his time in the country, in the league, and he's fitting perfectly. And Traore, he said he knew him from his time at Barcelona, and he's a player that can unlock the door at any moment in time. So there was a question asked as well about the defense, how he's going to break down the defense and how hard it is to create something. So he's mentioned, they're really strong defensively, very well structured, and hardly any spaces to attack. So he's basically saying, he needs to create a plan of how to break in. They're a team who counterattacks as well, so he needs to look out for that. And that's where they're solid and consistent. They're a team that doesn't concede many and always has a good chance to win the game and always be up at the top of the table. So there's that. Then there's some other notes as well to do with Guendouzi and Ozil. So another situation. I saw something on Twitter today saying that Ozil and Guendouzi didn't train today as well. So we'll read into that in a bit. Martinez's form. Emi's been working and preparing himself for a long time, being very respectful in the number 2 role, and he's basically taking his chance well, which we've seen. He's already started to make some good saves. One of the things I like about Martinez is his distribution as well. So as soon as he gets the ball, he's not standing still and he's looking around like Leno, for example. He just gets the ball, launches it up, and we saw that. I think it was, I can't remember what game it was, where he launched it up to, who was it? Southampton, I think. He launched it up to Aubameyang, and Aubameyang hit the post. So he said on the latest team news, we've had a few issues from last night. I won't mention the names, but obviously we have been playing a lot of games in the last few days, and some players are recovering. I think in general, I was asked about Thomas Partey. I cannot talk about being interested in any players that are playing in a team that's not ours. Sorry. So on whether he's decided if Ozil and Guendouzi will be in the squad for Wolves, and he said he's still not decided, but from what the Twitter sources are saying, that they didn't train, so I expect them not to even be on the bench again tomorrow. And I think that is, in summary, Daniel, that looks about it.
That's pretty much it, yeah.
And then obviously we got the big news that broke what, 2 or 3 hours ago?
Yeah.
Which was
with Martinelli. Listen, so is that it from the press conference? Yeah, is that?
Yeah. So I just opened up the Martinelli screen now. So that's great.
Yeah. Listen. Yeah. So Martinelli. Let's talk about that, because I'm really happy with the fact that Martinelli's come in. I'm really happy that he's signed a new deal, and he's only been at the club a year, and they're already offering him a long-term deal. Listen, it's brilliant, because in the past with us, players only get offered deals when they're in an untenable position in terms of, you look at Aubameyang's situation, when we're literally, our hand is being forced. But with Martinelli, to offer him a long-term deal when he's in no risk of leaving the club, or, he's still got quite a long deal on his current deal. So to sort of extend that, listen, I think that's brilliant business by Arsenal, because, we have criticised Arsenal's dealings with contracts in the past. And listen, I think this is brilliant. I think this is perfect. What do you think, Simpy?
Yeah, I'm really happy, because obviously he's been in I think he signed exactly a year ago or something. He's come into the team. I think we expected him to be maybe in the under 23s or something, then to be loaned out and then sold to some other team. But the fact is, he came in, hit the ground running. His commitment to the club, commitment to the fans on the pitch is brilliant. He's always got his head down, his focus. He's not about money and about all that like luxury lifestyle. He's always got his head focused just on his football. Obviously, the club know the recent press, everything about him. He's been hyped up. So maybe it's another business opportunity where the club have said, we'll put him on a new contract and a new wage. And then if in 2 years' time Real Madrid come knocking, we can sell him for a much bigger price than we could have done if he was still in his original contract. Perhaps that's something the board have thought about in the long term. So that may be another improvement of how the board's looking at life, perhaps.
Yeah. Listen, big up everybody in the chat as well. Big up to Omar. Liam Talks Football, Sam Greenwood, Liam Damon. Who else we got here? Taib.
Happy birthday, Taib.
Yeah, happy birthday, Taib.
It's his 12th birthday today.
12th.
Let's have a look here. Who we got? Obviously, we got Nitesh in there as well. Oh, no, Miss Melina this evening.
Ooh, where is she?
I wonder where she is.
I think one of the African guys probably wooed her finally.
Yeah, probably. And there is Nitesh is back in the building. So Nitesh, we're just talking about Martinelli. He's obviously signed a long-term deal. So what are your thoughts on that?
I said this on Ryan's channel as well, that it's probably Arsenal trying to show Martinelli that you're important. And while Arteta wasn't playing him, and that was before he got injured, he wasn't being selected. So it's Arsenal trying to show him that, no, you are important to us, and we want to give you more money as well, and we want to tie you down to a contract so that maybe the likes of Liverpool don't come after you. And it's like more insecurity showing on Arsenal's part as well, because they know that if they don't give Martinelli a bigger contract with another clause in it, he may do an Alex song or probably just eventually decide to leave if Arteta doesn't play him regularly. Because for some reason, Arteta prefers Eddie Nketiah over Martinelli, even though they don't generally play in the same position. And then there is Saka, who already signed a 6-year deal. So, 4-year deal. So if that is the case, I think this is Arsenal trying to show Martinelli as well that you are important to us. Don't worry about the fact whether Arteta picks you week in or week out or he doesn't. But I think that is one of the messages that is sent, and it is also a message to other clubs that if you want Martinelli, then you need to spend big. So it is more a message to other clubs. I'm not too interested about Martinelli getting an extension right now, because he's anyways, I think he was already tied down to a 3-year or 4-year deal. So it's not, I think that was what was his original deal, right, Simpy? Any update on that?
I'm not too sure. Let me just have a little look for you.
Because I think that was what was his original deal, and the only thing that has improved probably are his wages. Is there any kind of release clause? I don't think so. They have not added any new release clause.
See, for me, like, I think it's brilliant business by Arsenal, because, like I was saying, for long periods of time, we have seen in players with potential or players that are key to us. And Martinelli is a key player for us, even at this young age, and yet we've seen with Arsenal, they only act in the past. They've only acted when, oh, look, one of our star players is on to the last year of his contract. Oh, now we need to sign him up. But I think it sends a message that, listen, we've only had him at the club for a year. He signed this time last year. And and a year later for him to get a deal, a long-term deal. Listen, I think that's brilliant, because say we do have to sell him, or we do end up selling him, his value's just increased. His value's just increased. And listen, if say in maybe two years' time, a Real Madrid come calling, listen, we could probably, if he keeps smashing it the way he has been, we could probably get upwards of 100 million for him. So
that is exactly what I'm trying to say. Then that means that they are planning to sell Martinelli in the future. And if you want to, that is like if you can say it is kind of negative, because why do you?
I don't necessarily say it's they're looking to sell him, Nitesh. Listen, do you know what? Right? Say he hadn't been offered this contract, and then he smashes it, and then he gets to the final stages of his contract, and people are, oh, why didn't you sign him to a contract? Why didn't you get him signed up? Because oh look, you're letting one of our decent players go for peanuts. And so listen, I think it's brilliant business by Arsenal. I have to say it. Listen, I have to sit here and say that it's been brilliant business by Arsenal. We're not actually, we've managed to tie down Bukayo Saka. Now we've managed to tie down Martinelli. The rumor is that the Aubameyang could be next. Listen, we don't know that yet. That's not confirmed. So we just have to wait on that one. But all the signs are promising. All the signs are promising, and we have to. We're quick to slam the board and slam the owners or the people with any kind of power at this club when they get decisions wrong, and we have to give them credit for getting decisions right. And I feel that giving Martinelli this contract and they're increasing it, we have to sort of say that they've got a decision right. They've got a decision right. For once, which is unheard of at Arsenal. But listen, it's all well and good criticising them when they're wrong, but we have to give them praise for when they get decisions right. I think reading too much into it, like saying, oh, we've signed him up because, Liverpool could come calling, or listen, that's the way football works. When your players are playing good, other clubs are going to come in for them. And what we don't want to happen is another situation that we've seen for time at this club where players get to walk out for peanuts. If we end up selling him in 2 or 3 years' time for 100 million, we've lost a star player, but we've got money for him. What I don't want to happen is with Martinelli, he gets down to the last year of his contract, and we end up selling him for 20 million when his value will probably be at 100 million. So listen, I think it's brilliant business by Arsenal. I think it's fantastic.
I think then again, what I'm trying to say is, again, if he had like a 2-year or a 3-year deal, and I think now he signed a 5-year deal, so it doesn't make that much of a difference unless the player was demanding more money. That was one case. I don't think they have added any kind of release clause as well, like 100 million release clause or something in his contract. So it's not too much to do with them trying to sell him. If that was the case, they would have just added 100 million release clause in his contract. So that could have been done. And again, as I said, it is maybe the club trying to ensure him that even if Arteta isn't playing you around, we have you in our future plans. But this is actually a distraction, because Martinelli wasn't anyways going anywhere. He would have probably extended the contract. He was already, as Sam is also saying, on a 5-year or a 6-year deal. I think this is just them trying to distract us from the main topic, that is Aubameyang needs to resign, and what they are going to do in the transfer market. And as you know, previously also it has happened that Arsenal comes out and says that, oh, but we didn't do any transfer business, but we got Saka and Martinelli to extend their contracts. So I think this is again a case of that, because anyways, if he had like a 5-year or a 6-year or even a 3 to 4 year deal with us, he wasn't going anywhere. And it's not as if his contract was about to expire. We have so many players whom we need to extend, whose contract needs to be extended before Martinelli. And Aubameyang is the best example of that. They have no clue. They are trying to offer him. They are trying to give him something. They're trying to like give him a bone that he will take probably and stay at Arsenal. And that is what they're trying to do for so long. If they wanted to tie him down, they could have done it in the last couple of years. Why did they have to push it to the final year? And finally, they don't even know whether they want to sell him for a bit of cash or whether they want him to extend for 3 years now. So they are so dicey about the actual deals that need to be sorted out before Martinelli. And they're offering a guy who's just come in 1 year ago and giving him a new contract in 1 year. whereas the person that they need to be actually giving more money to is Aubameyang. So I think they're just trying to distract the Arsenal fans from the main issue and just keep them happy that at least someone has signed if Aubameyang hasn't.
I'm not so sure. Listen, I think, and the only reason I say this, right, is with the Aubameyang situation, a lot's happened this year. A lot has happened this year. And I think now that Arsenal are using this time, because things are getting back to normal, so they're using this time to tie up all the contracts, you know, whether it be Saka, Martinelli, or, you know, Aubameyang. And actually extending Martinelli's contract increases his value. And you're making a point about the transfer market. We don't know. We don't know what Arsenal are going to do in the transfer market. And for time, people have been saying, you know, I've seen people saying, you know, when we're being linked to players like Partey, and, you know, people are saying, well, we need to sort out other people's contracts at the club before we go after players like Partey. And listen, we have to give them credit for that. I'm sorry. The problem I've got, right, is you can get sucked into this constant negativity surrounding Arsenal, and you're sort of damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. Say the board didn't extend his contract, and then you know, he ended up going, and then the fans will be moaning, oh, well, you should have extended his contract. Why didn't you do it sooner? And now that he's doing it sooner, people are moaning that it's a distraction. So listen, Arsenal fans are very stupid. And I'm going to say, I don't care who I upset. Arsenal fans are very, very stupid in the sense, and they don't see things for what they are. And why not just be a little bit positive that this deal has happened? You know, yes, Aubameyang is the main target, and listen, when he signs, it's going to be great. But we don't know what's happening there. You know, it's all speculation at the moment, and we just have to be patient. But the fact that we're signing our young talent, future talent, for me, I love Aubameyang. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love him, and I'd love nothing more than him to sign. But let's be honest here. We're only going to get a few more years out of Aubameyang anyway. Martinelli, we could potentially get. Listen, he's still young enough. He's still got a whole career ahead of him. So tying our young talent down over an aging striker he's a brilliant striker. Don't get me wrong. He's up there, you know, he's up there with one of the best. But he's coming to the end of his career. Let's not make no mistake about it. He's on his last contract. So getting our young talent who could Martinelli could potentially replace Aubameyang. Yes, he's still got to prove himself a lot more. But listen, he's well on the way to proving himself. And he's got to do it for more than one season. I accept that. He's well on the way. You know, we don't know. He could come in next season and be a complete flop. Listen, we don't know. But the young talent, I think it's more important that we sign our young talent up. And the fact that they've done that, we have to give them credit for that. There's no point in constantly looking on everything that Arsenal do. There's no point in looking at it as from a negative perspective the whole time. Because, the thing is, Arsenal fans, right, have been conditioned to think negative about this board because, let's be honest, they have fucked us over so many times. They have screwed up so many times with deals and situations. And so Arsenal fans are conditioned to be constantly negative. And I get why. I completely understand it. But we have to give them praise because they're getting something right. They've got something right. Yeah, listen, if they go out and don't sign anybody in the transfer window, then fair dues. Have a dig at them, have a go at them, have a complete moan at them. But on this instance, in this case, we have to give them praise for actually doing it early, doing the business early, and not leaving and letting the contract run down.
No, what I'm trying to say is, if he already had a 4 to 5 year or 5 to 6 year deal, and they are even giving him the higher wages, they should at least put in a release clause of 100 million in his contract, because this is not the Arsene Wenger era or the Mislintat era or the Gazidis era. If it is Raul and Edu doing business, they should probably slip in a 100 million release clause in his contract as well. Why can't they just do that if they're trying to show that we want
We
to keep
don't know what's in his contract, Nitesh.
there
We
has
don't
to
know
be-
what's in
if
his
there was a
contract.
release clause, that would have been the first thing all over the news. That they
It's
have
not
put
going to
a-
be. No, it's that sort of stuff doesn't get reported until a player's been linked with a club. And listen, I don't care if there's a flipping release clause in his contract. I'm not bothered about there being a release clause in his contract. The fact that he signed a long-term deal, he's at the club, he's going to be worth about 100 million. We're in a much better position. Say if somebody come in for him, not next season, say he has a barnstorming season next season, and somebody like Barcelona come in, we can as a club can be in a, even though there's no release clause, we can be in a lot more commanding position and say, listen, you want him, you're going to pay for him. Whereas we haven't been in that situation with a player for a long time. So many situations, the player's been in control. The fact that he's been on the last year, is dictated that the player's been in control, that they hold all the cards. This time with Martinelli, and I'm not talking about every situation at the club, because yes, you still have to sort out Aubameyang, you still got to sort out other things. But with Martinelli and Bukayo Saka, you could throw into that. We are in commanding positions. Do you know what? If we sold Martinelli and Bukayo Saka next year, not saying that we are going to because we'd like to keep them, but say if they both had barnstorming seasons and big clubs were touting for them, we could probably get about upwards of 180, 190 million for the pair of them, because they're both, the market's gone up, in value, player value, and if we ended up selling, we'll be in a much better position rather than letting them run down their contracts and letting them go for peanuts.
Daniel, Ryan's backstage.
Yeah, okay, I'll just add him in.
No, the reason I'm saying about adding a release clause, because we never are good at negotiations, and then talks break down, and it always has happened. Even in the Aaron Ramsey case, that it happened that we tried to renew his contract and things didn't work out. It's happened in the past as well. When we know that our negotiations are not that good, then why are we trying to do it? And the second thing that I was trying to tell you about the club,
but that's past. That's past. I'm not interested. Yeah, no, but come on, Nitesh. When Ramsey, I'll say that. I just want to say this before I quickly bring in Ryan. When Ramsey left the club, the whole structure at the top, the regime was changing, and it was the old regime that offered him that contract. The new regime come in and said, no, actually, we're not doing that. We're not offering you that contract, and it was the club that took it off the table. And that is in the past. Do you know what, right? I'm fed up, right? And I'm going to say this because it really grinds me. I'm fed up of Arsenal fans living in the past. What? It's
not in the past. It's the same.
It regime. Is in the past. It is in the past, Nitesh. It is in the past.
Regime. That is in the past.
No, it's not. The regime changed. The regime changed when Ramsey was offered that contract.
No,
Ramsey. No. Ramsey offered that contract. Ramsey was offered that contract, and then the new regime come in. When Sven Mislintat left the club, and the new regime come in with Raul. Gazidis left in August to join Milan, and then that contract was taken off the table. Arsenal withdrew the contract. Arsenal withdrew the contract. That was the old regime that offered that contract.
Yeah, what I'm trying to say is the new regime did not give him the contract and they could not negotiate with them, so they let him go. They could not come to an agreement with Ramsey and they let him go.
Actually, Ramsey was going to sign the contract, but the contract didn't suit the club. So
exactly.
But that's in the past. That's in the past. So why are you going to beat the board over
How
a
is it
head?
in the past when it's the same regime that has done that negotiation as well, and the current one that is also every negotiation that is happening right now? Saka, David Luiz, everyone is under this new regime, and they are liable for all of these contract and signings and deals.
Okay, so all right. Let me say, for instance, you disagree with them offering Martinelli a long-term contract.
No,
and you disagree with them offering Bukayo Saka a long-term contract.
No, I'm not disagreeing with them offering Saka the long-term contract, but I'm saying that Martinelli already had a similar contract. If they know that he will probably be leaving, then they should probably put in a release clause, because their negotiations are not at all good, which is seen by the Aaron Ramsey deal. When we needed Aaron Ramsey,
but he signed.
He was about to sign. No, I'm saying about Ramsey when they showed that he was about to sign.
Listen, let me say this, Nitesh. Right, I'm going to say this because I'm going to bring in Ryan in a second because I want to get Ryan's opinion on this. We need to forget Aaron Ramsey's gone. He's history. He's not at the club anymore. So why is it an issue? He's not here. It didn't work out. So what's the issue? Let me say this, right, Nitesh. I think you've got an issue with the fact that we don't have an attacking midfielder.
Yes.
And that's where you've had this gripe on so many streams. You've had this gripe. And I think that because Ramsey was one of your favourites, that because he left the club and he left the club with the circumstances, that you got some massive issue with the board over the fact they let one of your favourites go.
No, it's not that. It's that we created a loophole in the midfield, and that is creating problems for us now. When we had him, he was playing well. It's not as if he was struggling. It's not as if it was Ozil that we were letting go of. And that is what I'm trying to say.
But it didn't happen. Listen, it is what it is, isn't it? It is what it is.
So that is what I'm trying to say. If these guys
I'm talking about Martinelli signing a deal. Why is that such a negative input? Why is that such a negativity? Why is it so negative?
If these guys had the negotiation skills to keep hold of a player who was scoring goals, who was creating goals, then they would have probably kept hold of Ramsey as well. So I don't trust.
Different scenarios, different times. You can't compare the two. Different scenarios, different times.
We needed a creative midfielder. We did need a creative attacking midfielder who was scoring goals. And now we are trying to get Coutinho on loan. These guys are trying to
get... Coutinho is a much better player than Ramsey. Coutinho was a much better player.
He's not proven himself recently in any club. He's not right now proving himself at the top level. And the thing is, when we had a player...
So let me ask you this then, Nitesh. Would you have Ramsey back at Arsenal? Because let me say this, Ramsey's, since he's been to Juventus, he's not proved himself and not done much neither.
He's gone to Juventus for the money because we did not want to keep him. We took back the contract.
But it doesn't matter. He's not playing well, is he? So what you're saying, you'd have him back?
He was injured as well, and he didn't go to Juventus to be a regular full-time player there because he knew that he would have to compete for a spot. He did play a few games. He was in and out of the team. But Juventus has a long squad. We don't have the number of players that Juventus has currently. And even if they sell like 2-3 players, there would still be a lot of competition for Ramsey at Juventus. And the thing with Ramsey is that we needed him. More than he needing us, we needed him at Arsenal because we don't have a creative player in our midfield. And the current regime could not negotiate a deal with him
to keep hold of him. Different scenarios, Nitesh. It's a different scenario. It's a different scenario. You're being negative over this Martinelli deal because Ramsey was let go, where you can't compare the situation. The club was in transition. I'm not saying the board are blameless for all these deals. I'm not saying that at all. But you have to look at the circumstances surrounding the situation. and you have to. As a club, you've got to look forward. You can't look back. And
So the point I
yes,
was
we can question it, but they're doing things right. Getting Bukayo Saka, getting Martinelli signed up to deals. Listen, Aubameyang could sign a contract next week, and there'll still be people that moan about it because our fan base is fucked. There is a large section of our fan base that are never ever happy. Doesn't matter. I know what people do; they're never ever happy. They're just conditioned to moan and whinge all the time. And we have to accept situations for what they are. And signing Martinelli up to a deal, I think is pretty good business. Doesn't matter whether he's out of contract or whether he's still got a free. Extending his contract is a good thing.
And two more things I just quickly want to add. Next thing they will say is that the club does not have money to get in more players because we need to get rid of the wage bill. That is one more thing. And giving Martinelli an unnecessary contract improvement right now. And the second thing, again, I'm saying is that these guys don't have the negotiation skills. So I would rather prefer a release clause being added to the contract so that when it comes down to buying, any club wants to buy the player, they have to pay maybe like 100 million directly up front, and there is no two ways about it because these guys are trying to get.
But they don't need a release clause. There doesn't need to be a release clause, Nitesh. There does not need to be a release clause. There does not need to be.
That I don't
what is it? It doesn't matter. We could still get upwards of 100 million for him if we had to sell him. There doesn't need to be a release clause.
Yeah. Exactly. If you put a release clause in, there's a chance you'll lose a major asset in our club for less money than what his actual value is. So why would the club do that? And back on the Ramsey thing, as Daniel says, Ivan Gazidis fucked this club over. There's no doubt about it. One of his last fuck-ups was the Ramsey. He offered Ramsey a massive deal that benefited him, not the club. And when this new regime came in, Raul Vinay, at the time, came in and saw what was on the table. They saw it wasn't beneficial to the club. So they did the right thing. They tried to negotiate a deal that's good for both club and player. Ramsey, because he was already ready to sign that deal and the other deal, was like, no, I want them. Basically, I want the money. Hence why, when that deal was taken off the table, look back to that Fulham game when he scores that goal and the arrogance of his celebration. Because obviously by then it had been confirmed that we weren't going to offer him a new contract because he was being knobhead behind the scenes. End of the day, it is what it is. And then since then, we've all criticised the board about before this week about not sorting out the Saka deal. They've sorted it long term. Martinelli today, out of the blue, they've pinned him down to even they extended the contract he had in the first place. They're protecting their assets. Yet if we don't do that, the fans still complain. So what can the board do?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously,
I agree.
They can't win. They cannot win.
I agree. Listen, I agree. You know, and I didn't want to turn this whole preview into a debate about Martinelli and the contract.
I think that's fantastic news. Literally, Mark in his first year at the club, and they've pinned him down to longer. And I think that speaks volumes as well, not only about what's going on behind the scenes within the board side of it, but with whatever Arteta's been doing since he came in January. Clearly, he's putting some sort of message across to the players, and they're buying into it. Because let's not get twisted. Martinelli came in, and his intentions were from the first interview onwards, he wants to be competing at the highest level and winning big trophies. So clearly, Arteta's saying something and doing something beyond the scenes that he's impressed with. And also, they wouldn't give him a long-term 5-year contract now, extension, if he weren't part of Arteta's plans.
And the other thing is, Nitesh, as well, you're saying that they might not sign it. They might use this as an excuse to not sign players. Let's be clear, right? That was the old regime. Remember, this new regime is first transfer window. I don't count the window before because the old regime was still in transition from that one to the new regime. But let's not forget, last summer, they did spend 72 million on Pepe. They did spend, what was it? We signed David Luiz.
8 million.
Then we signed
Tierney for 25.
Tierney for 25. And Saliba for 27, I think he was.
27 plus add-ons, yeah.
So that was up over 100 million in one window. So this notion that they didn't spend money last summer is ridiculous. You know, because they did spend money.
No, I'm not saying they didn't spend money. What I'm trying to say is now probably they'll let go of Lacazette and say that we extended Martinelli's contract, so we're not getting another attacking player.
Also, you've got to consider.
And if they get rid of Lacazette, which most people want anyway, and they bring in a Thomas Partey, so I don't see what the issue is.
We need a creative midfielder again. That is what I'm again saying. The reason Lacazette is struggling again because
midfielder. We've been heavily linked with a central midfielder all summer. Since this lockdown, we've been heavily linked with. I know he's not a box to box like Ramsey was, but it's a position that needs strengthening. And since Saka's been confirmed, everywhere you look, we've intensified and upped the ante of getting a defensive midfielder that will help protect our back four. I know we need I need a creative midfielder as well to be box to box and score goals, but it's one step at a time. We're not going to get everything in one hit. It's just what Arteta's going. They probably told Arteta back in December when they interviewed him. What players can you, for short term, what players can you deal with? Like just for a couple of seasons, a season or season and a half, whatever. And what can't you deal with? And the ones you can't deal with, we'll get out. We'll get what you need in, but it'd have to be in X, Y, and Z. So, for example, Partey. If Partey goes through, that's a DM, a proper DM, experienced at the highest level, and Champions League proven, played Champions League as well.
I can tell you the business we're going to do. I can tell you the business we're going to do this summer, and I'll be happy with this. If we got Partey, if we signed Partey and then got Coutinho on loan, I'll be happy with that.
That's a start.
I'll be happy with that. Like if that was the only two deals we done, and I'm not saying that is, but if those were the only two deals done, that instantly makes us our midfield better.
Exactly.
You know, because don't forget, Bukayo Saka's filled in that number 10 role, and he's done pretty well at it. You know, he done okay. So I think what Arteta's doing with the rotation with Bukayo Saka, he's trying to make players adapt to more than one position, and some players that will work, and some players that won't work because there's a lot of players at this club that are uncoachable. So I actually think, and I don't want to spend too long on this because we are previewing the game tomorrow, so I want to get onto that. But I do think that if those were the only two bits of business, I think that would be brilliant for us.
And also, let's not forget we've already done some business already in terms of next season and getting Pablo Mari and Cedric Soares on deals now on a permanent deal. So there's already business done there. So again, it's in positions that we need strengthening in, and there's going to be. And you can, by the numbers we've got in that backline as well, you know there's going to be a lot of exits in the backline this summer. So it all seems like things are going in the right direction. You've just got to give it time. It won't be all in this transfer window, like the incomings, but by this time next summer, we will be somewhat nearer being more competitive than what we are right now.
Yeah,
and one more thing with respect to the release clause thing, I just want to quickly say one thing, that you are expecting the 100 million or 180 million for Saka and Martinelli. That will happen if we are a Champions League playing club. It's not going to happen if we are not even making it into Europe.
It depends on the club that comes in, though, because also if they're performing at a higher level than what the rest of their teammates are performing, their value goes up even higher.
And also, if Barcelona come in for him, we can still command a big fee.
Yeah, I mean, look at Liverpool with Coutinho, because Coutinho wasn't season in, season out playing Champions League football at the time. Liverpool weren't where they are now. They were in and out of.
No, but at that point,
so you can get a high fee for a high.
They weren't in the Champions League at that point of time.
That's what I'm saying. That you can get a high fee.
When they sold Coutinho, they weren't in the Champions League. Yeah. If I remember rightly, when they sold Coutinho, they were pushing for a top 4 finish. And they weren't. Yeah. I think, they literally, the summer they sold Coutinho, they just qualified the end of last season for the Champions League. So they hadn't actually played anything in the Champions League.
Exactly.
No, yeah, but that was also a fortunate deal. It's not going to happen again and again. For 140 million, Barca will regret it for the rest of their life.
Sorry, Barcelona. The thing is, recent years, Barcelona are known for throwing money at an issue.
Let me tell you something as well.
Dembele, for example.
Let me tell you something as well. Martinelli is the type of player that a Barcelona or Real Madrid would snap up. If he goes the way he is and he starts banging in the goals and stuff, that is the type of player that Barcelona would come in for, and Real Madrid. That would be the type of player. Listen, that they will come in for him all day long, and it doesn't matter whether, if Martinelli goes to them and it doesn't work out. Listen, the amount of money that Barcelona have thrown on players and it's not worked out, they just throw money down the drain. They spend money like Man United do. Do you know what I mean? So it's, listen, I'm happy that he's signed. Simpy, what are people saying in the chat?
We got basically someone saying Ramsey left, didn't play much, was injured again, and that is all the reasons we should have let him back, because he had one good season. His head just exploded. Mkhitaryan's gone. El Neni will go. Plenty of others in the squad will go in the summer or next summer. And then Ox and Walcott need to come back now. So he's got to fight towards Nitesh.
I mean, Ox was playing like Arsenal yesterday anyway, from going back years for that own goal. Because that own goal actually reminded me of the own goal he scored for Sunderland against us in the FA Cup.
It reminded me of when Gibbs was sent off for Ox.
Good, yeah.
Oh, that as well. But
anyway, guys, listen. Let's move on from this, because we've been going for 46 minutes, and as always, Nitesh gets me into that debating mode, because he always says something and I have to come back at him, and then we end up going at it tooth and nail like an old married couple, and the time goes nowhere. So let's go on to the preview and preview the game tomorrow. So listen, I'm going to ask each of you in turn, are you confident tomorrow? So I'm going to start with Ryan. Are you confident tomorrow?
Based on the last few games from Southampton onwards, the way we've got results and performed, I am quietly confident. I don't think it's not going to be an easy game. Let's be honest. It's not going to be easy at all. It's Wolves away. Fans or no fans, that's a difficult place to go to. In our next two games, if we can get 4 points out of our next two games, I'll take that. So if we can get a draw tomorrow and then beat Leicester on Tuesday night, I'll take that now. I'll snap your hand off. Because again, that gives us still the momentum going forward for the last 3 or 4 games left after that, to push on then and put the pressure on the teams above us to drop points. Because the more we're performing, the more they're thinking, oh crap. And one of them's going to slip. I mean, yesterday I was on did a watch along on my own channel for the Liverpool game, and I had Jonathan, a Liverpool fan, on, and we're chatting, and I was saying, because I was comparing fixtures. I mean, this time last year we had the easiest running in the world. Out of all the teams going for Champions League, we had the easiest running, and we bottled it for so many reasons, Emi being one of them, but we bottled it. Man United this season have got the easiest running in the world. They're not going to win every game. I mean, they played Norwich in the FA Cup this weekend, just gone, and they looked abysmal. B team or not, they shouldn't be struggling against Norwich. So for me,
So for me,
I think we'll take a score draw, either 2-2 or we'll nick it 2-1.
Yeah. Listen, that's great. Do you know who I think is going to bottle it as well? Because I watched Chelsea against West Ham. Jesus Christ, Chelsea! I did not. I sat and watched that game, and I was like, Chelsea are going to batter these. And Yeah, they didn't look great, did they, Chelsea against West Ham?
And the thing is, I had added investment as well because my family, from my mum's side, are all West Ham fans. So there's an added investment in that as well for me. So even great pleasure. And then the fact that Lampard was manager of Chelsea, and the fact that he did what he did years ago when he was at West Ham to go to Chelsea, it was just like fantastic. And then obviously Tottenham lost the next day. It's even better.
Yeah. Nitesh, are you confident tomorrow?
Yeah, if Patricio gifts us a goal like all keepers are gifting it, it's Christmas already for Arsenal. Krul gave us a goal. The Southampton keeper gave us a goal. So now it's Patricio's turn to gift us a goal as well. And I was enjoying that. I kept saying it that Moyes is going to pull off a masterclass against Chelsea. I said it on a couple of streams, I guess, and it happened again. So I think Wolves were lucky against Bournemouth to win that game. They were a bit better against West Ham, but I think we can beat them because they are actually not informed. The only thing that is saving them is Traore and Jimenez, that combination. And I don't think he's going to start with it again. And if Tierney can keep him quiet, and even Kolasinac can give Adama a few pushes here and there, a few shrugs, then I think Adama Traore will be ineffective in the game because we'll have two players playing there because of the formation that he's using, 3-4-3. So that actually bolsters our defense a bit more. So I think, yes, we should win this game. And if, as I said, Patricio gifts us a goal, then definitely we'll win the game. But if not, then probably we should still be able to nick it at least by a goal.
And the other thing is as well, I'll be interested in, like, the key for me as well is whether Arteta plays the same formation, because the formation that he used against Sheffield and the formation that he used on Wednesday, I think, has been a massive part of our success. We've been a lot more. We've been a lot better. If we play that formation, I think we got a chance. I think we'll do all right. They seem to be clicking with that formation, and I just think we need to play that formation. That formation's brilliant. He's got a bunch of crap players playing decent with that formation. So it's the other formation wasn't working great.
If he changes that formation now, he'll probably get abused on Twitter and various social media platforms because that formation is where we have played our best football right now. The only other worry that I have is if he continues playing this formation, I hope Tierney can defend when he goes back to a left-back position, because I've already seen it with Marcos Alonso. He was initially a left-back. He had a good half season and 3/4 of a season. Then he suddenly started playing as wing-back. And when he went back to being a left back, he couldn't defend at all. So I hope that even if Tierney is playing wing back for quite most of the season now and next season as well, probably, when he goes back to a left back, if in case of we needing a left back and him playing left back, I hope he can defend properly at that point of time and he doesn't become a Marcos Alonso.
And Simpy, are you confident tomorrow?
Not really.
Always got to be one.
Yeah, it's got to be one. You got to bounce the panel up a bit. Yeah, so just going off the recent form, Wolves haven't lost a league game since January, and that was against Liverpool, and they were very unlucky not to get a result that game. They've not conceded many goals recently. They've scored quite a lot of goals. We've obviously picked up momentum now, beating Sheffield United, beating Southampton, and beating Norwich, but we've not really played anyone like of that caliber of Wolves, I don't think. And we all know how their team's set up. Very strong defensively, very strong going forward. Tricky players like Jimenez, who always manages to get a goal. Midfield, much stronger than ours. Yeah, Neves, Moutinho, and Traore. But as like Nitesh knows as well for FPL, we've got Traore that normally comes on as like an impact sub towards like the 70th minute, and that burst of pace and strength just like rips defenses apart. But yeah, looking forward to the game. I think this is a real test now to see. I think, like Ryan said, if we can somehow manage, if we can beat Wolves or get a draw, then perhaps this will boost the momentum of the team that's already like in La La Land, ready for the Leicester game, the Spurs game, the Liverpool game. So yeah, I think this is a big test now to see if his tactics and his formation can pay off against Nuno. So yeah, let's see.
hopefully David Luiz doesn't give Jimenez another penalty.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm slightly confident. I wasn't. If you'd asked me a week ago, I probably would.
Same.
I would have said, "Listen, there's absolutely no chance." But I'm slightly more confident now that we seem to be clicking and building up a. I think the loss to Brighton and the loss to Man City was a big wake up call for the players, and potentially a big wake up call for Arteta as well. Because listen, it wasn't great, but the Sheffield game, the Southampton game, and the Norwich game. Each game we've looked sharper and sharper. So I'm slightly more confident that we can get a result there at Wolves. I really am, because I think as a lot of these players know that they need to step up. They need to put in more of a performance. Now, whether they do that is another thing. But listen, there's a little bit of positivity about the club now. The results are picking up. Stuff off the pitch is going our way, and we just need to keep, in my opinion, we need to keep this momentum going. Because let's be honest, it's been a shit season. It has been a poor season. It's been an absolute diabolical season. Probably the worst Arsenal team that I've seen for a long time, and probably the worst season that I've seen for a long time. So we need to just end it with a little bit of positivity going into, obviously, the summer break. We don't know what's happening with the summer break or the transfer window. Listen, that's still all up in the air. But we need to we need to keep momentum going is the most important thing. And let's be honest as well, teams around, like Spurs, have dropped points. So if we can, this is an opportunity to really climb up the table and just put some daylight between us and Spurs. So yeah, listen, it is what it is. It's no questions about it. It's been a poor season, but like I said, we need to just finish on a positive run, and we're still in the FA Cup, although that is an uphill battle. But yeah, listen, I think we could get a result. I really do. Not to say that it isn't going to be a difficult game, because I think it is going to be an incredibly difficult game, and this is going to be a big challenge to see whether we've got anything about us. Because if we can go and beat somebody like Wolves, who are a solid team all round, then yeah, we have to sort of say that maybe we are starting to get things right. Now, having said that, we know that a lot of these players are deadwood, but listen, if Arteta gets the best out of these players for what he can until the end of the season, he's got no choice. He's got no choice. He's got to play these players. And if he can get the best out of them until the end of the season, until that window opens, then listen, I'm all for that. I'm all for a bit of positivity.
Yeah, I don't think that these guys are all deadwood. He's not played the deadwood, that is Ozil. And Xhaka, with respect to that, he's not been tested. I don't think, but I think Wolves has the midfield that will test Xhaka a bit, because they got Neves and they got Moutinho, and these guys are there. And obviously Jimenez is also a running player who runs around a lot. I think they're not going to play Jota as well. Jota is totally out of form. They may play Neto. So Xhaka is going to be tested in this game. He can't be lying around and having a ball and expecting that Wolves will go easy on him. So I think this is Xhaka's real test, and it might be as some fans are saying, probably Xhaka's first loss in an Arteta team in the new year. Probably, I think after restart, we haven't lost, or even this year, we haven't lost a game with Xhaka in the team so far. So I think this could be the first loss that many are predicting with Xhaka in the team. So if we manage to draw it, I think some of them will be happy. But based on form, Arsenal is in better form than Wolves. So if, according to me, if we end up with anything less than 3 points, I would be disappointed. Because looking at the Bournemouth versus Wolves game, they were very lucky to get that win. It could have been a goalless draw, but then the combination again worked, and Bournemouth's defense switched off, and Jimenez scored the goal. So that was one.
Yeah, sorry. It all comes down to the starting 11, and if Arteta can get that 11 fired up to go out there and do the job that he needs them to do. But if even one of them goes out with the wrong attitude, it fucks the whole team up straight from the off. It's about basically it'll come down to who wants it more, I think.
Yeah.
And at least Wolves has speed in midfield. Sheffield didn't have it. Southampton was so poor they couldn't finish off the chances. Ward-Prowse and I think Ings that day didn't have the best of games. Even their other players did not. Maybe I think it was Redmond who was poor with the finishing. I think Ings was the only player who was a threat on the day against Southampton. Sheffield has a slow attack. They are not the quick counter-attacking team, but Wolves are quick. So I don't think Xhaka will be able to cope with that. It will have to be the defense that has to be careful tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, for me as well, the player who is now for me coming under scrutiny is Lacazette. This guy needs to seriously start scoring, because listen, he's not the player. Listen, we know he's got some quality because he got player of the season last season. But this season, he is having an absolute shocker, and he needs to start scoring, because obviously if he doesn't, then he's going to be out the team. He's going to be out the team, and he's going to be out the door. So if he wants to stay at Arsenal, then he needs to start scoring.
Yeah, definitely. I think whatever that injury was at the beginning of it, from that Emirates Cup match in the summer, that obviously carrying over and not taking that actual rest to recover properly, that's absolutely screwed him for this whole season. And he never came back and had that same confidence, let alone being the same player that we saw last year.
Yeah, and the thing is with Lacazette as well, his headline is off the pitch antics is not helping his cause as well. And people are going to start questioning that, and I'm certainly questioning it, because is his heart really at Arsenal? Because at the moment, I'm just seeing a player that's strolling around the pitch, and he doesn't look like a player like last season, when he looked really decent. He looked solid, and you were like, yeah, he's going to be. He's going to go places. We saw the player that he was at Lyon in France, and since sort of this season, he's just not done it at all.
Yeah, and it's a shame because he was a cracking player. People, especially our fan base, are rather quick to forget this. Lacazette was obviously voted player of the season from us last season, and obviously with his form and everything that's going on, it's quick to forget. And I think it's rather telling that most of the time since Arteta's come in, he has rather opted for Eddie over Lacazette in most of his games, like to start the game. And I think that's rather telling to what he's seen on the training field as well, because Arteta's always said he'll pick players based on the training, what they're doing on the training pitch. So clearly, again, Lacazette, when he's not starting, he's doing something wrong on the training pitch. And who's respected with Arteta, for standing by his word then?
But I disagree to that, because he's played well in the friendlies. He did score goals as well. So I think...
you say that, as you said, they are friendlies.
And let's not forget, look back at that Brentford game. He's on the edge of our own box, grinding against the midfielder and loses the ball, and then the whole system goes because then we're conceded. It's back level pegging again, and that's another gripe I have. He comes for someone that plays striker. We saw it against Norwich this week as well. He plays in the middle, and he comes way too deep.
Because there is no creative midfielder. Again, the same point.
And in that case, if he can't get the supply to him, and he has to come that deep. He ain't got the pace he once had, and he's liable to give a ball away because he's coming so far deep. I'd rather have someone like Eddie, who's got a bit more youthful, a bit more wanting to prove a point, that can stretch the defence and who can poach a goal. Because let's be honest as well, in these games, in these actual competitive games, Lacazette has had plenty of opportunities that last season he would have scored. In this season, he's fluffing. I mean, there was a Wednesday against Norwich in the second half. The ball came into him, and the touch was awful. It was a touch or a pass. Either way, it was awful because it's literally come to him, and he's not even looked to see what's around him. He's just got rid of the ball. There's just
on that note,
what else can Arteta do?
Yeah, what I wanted to say.
He's trying to give him the kick up the arse, and he's trying to give him the kick up the arse and not picking him and proving a point that this kid, this 19-20-year-old boy, is getting ahead of him. That's trying to kick up the arse that way. For years, we've had this issue of players not being in form. And for example, Arsene Wenger constantly picking them, even when they're not in form, constantly. The one time we've actually got a head coach come in, be a man of his word, and do what he's saying, in terms of if you're not doing the job, you're out. He's doing it. He's sticking to his word, and people are still complaining. Again, Arteta can't win there.
No,
because if he goes against what he said and actually plays him week in, week out, even if he's not performing from the start, constantly gives him starts no matter what, he's going to get criticised anyway because it's showing he's got a favourite. It's like he can't win. Wenger's constantly criticised, even by myself, for playing players out of form week in, week out, and not playing the players in form, and not rewarding the players that actually dug in and put a shift in. Arteta's come in, he's did the complete opposite. He did everything we've complained about before, and got the other side. You've got idiots, not going to name names because I don't give them any airtime, who are actually complaining. And it's like the guy, no matter what he does, he can't win because either way he's getting criticised. That's End of the day, if Lacazette is in form, start him. If he's putting a shift in form, you start him. But he's not. And clearly, Arteta's seen something he doesn't like. He's trying to give him a kick up the arse. If he can't, it's a bit like when George Graham came in with Charlie Nicholas was there. For whatever reason, didn't fit what George Graham was trying to do. He was out the door. And he brought in other players to fit the mould. This is what Arteta's got to do.
And I wanted to say, before the pandemic hit, Lacazette was scoring goals. Then there was that off-field incident about the balloons. When he came back, he was looking okay-ish in the friendlies. He was scoring goals. Yes, he made that error. That was there. But obviously, he is still a better player than Eddie Nketiah. Now, the next thing is, he should have started the game against Manchester City. If he did not perform in that game, probably, yes, he could have been dropped. If he did, because most of the team was not doing anything against Manchester City. It was a very bad performance in terms of attack. As we saw in 101 minutes, there wasn't a single shot or target. Now, the next thing is, when you don't play your top players in a game against Manchester City, that means you're trying to tell them that I don't want you at the club. Like, he dropped Lacazette, but he was playing some of the other players. And Eddie Nketiah was also played out of position in that game. Now, the thing is, when he did come back, he did play a game which was poor again, and he did have the assist for the Sheffield penalty, which he earned by fighting for the ball. The second half, again, if you saw, most of the team up front was invisible. So he got that one assist. He did not score in that game, understandable, but he did his job of holding the ball. The problem again is there is no creative attacking midfielder. There is no one who creates the chances. Again, selling Lacazette is not a problem, but whom will they get in to replace Lacazette? Because when he is not scoring goals, which is nowadays is a lot, but he at least tends to join the creative play He is the only physical player up front because Aubameyang has zero physicality. Eddie Nketiah is a kid. Saka can't get too physical. Martinelli will get injured if he goes into the physical battles. So they don't have a player up front to be physically strong against a team like Brighton, Sheffield, all these teams. So when we have Lacazette, we at least have a second option to keep there who can hold the ball and try to play 1-2 passes or one touch football. Even when he was in his form, he used to hold the ball and take a shot, take a snapshot. I'm not saying he was scoring all those goals in this season, but he was doing that. But if we let go of Lacazette, which player is coming in to replace him with respect to at least his creativity, if not his goals? We don't have anyone we are planning to get. Coutinho may come in as a creative midfielder, but then again, we'll be missing another striker. We need a second striker. If Aubameyang is injured because he's already 32, he's about 32, he's entering the 35 area, we need a backup striker. We can't rely on Martinelli to give us 20, 30 odd goals, and we won't have a second striker as well.
Also, we have again this week. We have been heavily linked with both Depay and Moussa Dembele of Lyon, who are both, I think, would do what Lacazette, or especially Dembele. I prefer Dembele himself out of the two from Lyon. He would do what we're getting from Lacazette and more. And the reason I think, going back to the Man City game, the reason he was dropped for that game and not started is because of the mistake he made in the Brentford game. Because if he hadn't made that mistake, as you said, everything else up in them friendlies, he was fantastic. He was hitting everything he touched. It was gold. The second he made that mistake, the second he made that mistake, I had to move a point in and say, consequence to your actions. If you hadn't done that, A, they don't get back in the game, and X, Y, and Z. So you've got to have a consequence there. So that's probably why he was dropped for that game.
I agree. And David Luiz was dropped too. But then why was everyone saying that they were just friendlies? If they are saying that he was dropped because of the mistake he made, David Luiz was dropped because of the mistake he made, why was everyone saying that they are just friendlies and it will not impact Arteta's thinking or it will not impact his selection when it clearly did?
It's like they are just friendlies, but at the same time, it was all about match fitness, getting match fitness up. But it's also seeing what players are up to speed, and what players are ready to go for that big game coming up, which was Man City for us, which was our game in hand. And I think up till that point where he made that mistake, and because of Arteta set such a precedence for what he expects from his players, and friendly or not, competitive match or not, even the fact he's picking players that game to game based on what they do on the training pitch and not match by match. So yeah, he's going to be influenced when people make mistakes in a friendly match, because he's thinking that if you're doing it in a friendly match, what the hell are you going to do when we need the points? So that's why he got dropped. End of the day. That's why Eddie was given a chance. And then, again, that was Arteta's way of trying to kick Arteta up the arse. But don't do it again. And, yeah, you're saying about Lacazette started scoring goals just before this lockdown, which he was.
Yeah.
But just before that, just before he started scoring against Newcastle and West Ham respectively, he was going through a dry spell again. So throughout the season, he's been going through patches where it's on, off, on, off. But if he's not going to... If he's not going to do what Arteta wants, why should he start him? I know, yes, he's a hold-up playing, all that, but you can't reward someone for constantly making mistakes. Bear with me one sec.
Sure. No, so
yeah, Simpy, because I want to sort of move on from this as well, because I want to get into the predicted lineup.
We always end up doing this.
Yeah, I want to get into the predicted lineup. So, Simpy, just before that, what are people saying in the chat?
Nketiah is producing more than Lacazette since the restart. There are also other strikers that can be brought in. Eddie should have not started.
Read out the names as well.
Okay.
Who are reading them out,
some Greenwood TV, says Nketiah is producing more than Lacazette since the restart. There are also other strikers that can be brought in. Paul John, Eddie should have not started against Man City. Tyrone McIntyre, if sell Lacazette, we should go for Moussa Dembele. Liam and...
For that, if you get Dembele, he's another Neymar in the making, and he's going to have his problems with Arteta. And within a week or two, or maybe maximum a month or two, he's going to be dropped from the team and not be played. So it will be stupid to get him against a manager who's so stubborn with respect to attitude that it can be another Guendouzi situation. So if we want to get in someone, we need to get in someone who's disciplined, well disciplined, and Dembele can't be the guy that we bring in. Yes, simply.
Okay. Yeah, Tyrone was saying about Torreira's now fit to play, which is true. And then Omar and Liam were saying if we should start him or if he's going to be match ready. There was something Sam raised as well. Sam Greenwood. He said this is interesting. I saw this; it caught my eye. So he said Xhaka tells the fans to F off, gets back into the team, and gets given the armband at some points. Lacazette breaks club rules, sucking balloons, and looking like he doesn't care. He gets to play every game. And then Guendouzi did what wrong? So Guendouzi's not even trained today, same as Ozil. They're both being dropped.
Yeah, and there is some discrepancy about the fact that whether
because Guendouzi, I'll say this right with Guendouzi, he's basically the way he's acting is sort of questioning Arteta's tactics. And I think since Arteta's come in and he's seen Guendouzi and thinks, like, listen, you're playing too much. We need to give you a break. You need to be integrated properly. And I think Guendouzi's had issues with that because obviously Arteta's a new manager and, he's got his way of doing things. And I think because of that, Guendouzi has started to rebel with certain things. Lacazette's thing is, although his discrepancies were off the pitch, so with the balloons and stuff, that should be handled off the pitch. Xhaka is a completely different scenario because his situation happened on the pitch. His situation happened on the pitch, and the thing with Xhaka is he was captain, and he had to work his way. He had to work his way back into the team, and he did. Like when he went out the team, he worked his way back in. And let's not forget with Xhaka, we were still under the management of Unai Emery. We wasn't under the management of Arteta. Sort of, if anything, it was Arteta that sort of brought Granit Xhaka back in. So with the disciplinary issues there, we was under new management. This is what I'm saying. There's been a lot of change this year, more change than usual. So, like Arteta can't be blamed for another manager's decisions. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm going to say on Arteta. Because listen, there's, like I said it on previous, that there's a section of our fan base that just wants to beat Arteta over the head with a stick, and because they've got nothing else to moan about, they'd like to moan about Arteta. When listen, he's done a lot of things wrong, Arteta, but he's also done some good, So we have to balance it. If you're going to criticize him for the things he's done wrong, you have to praise him for the things that he's done right. And it's still very early days, and he's still got a lot to prove and a lot to prove to the fans and a lot to prove to the wider areas, the wider footballing world in terms of his managerial capabilities. But you just, you can't just keep beating him over the head with certain things. It's just not right.
I think he gets influenced very easily, and he needs to work on that. Because as I said about the friendly games, I was saying that David Luiz will be dropped. Lacazette was not played because of that one error, even though he deserved to start the game with against Manchester City. And Guendouzi, he should be appreciating that there is at least one player who's ready to fight for Arsenal and wants them back at winning ways. Because the other guys we have seen, like best example is Bellerin, they don't really care about winning and stuff. And you can see, if there is someone who should be dropped before Guendouzi from the team right now, it is 110% I say Bellerin. He doesn't deserve to play for Arsenal.
I get that, Nitesh. But Guendouzi's got to show it in the right way. He's got to show it in the Remember, his stuff happened after the game. If he was that, but why didn't he show it in the game? Why did he wait till after the game to get all blooming confrontational? So if you want to show a fight, you've got to show it. You've got to show it in the game. And let's not forget as well, with Guendouzi, he done stuff in Dubai as well. So it wasn't just on that performance. He done it in Dubai. We don't know the whole story. We're just seeing what was in Dubai, and we're reading reports. We don't know the ins and outs of what's going on.
Before, that if someone has a problem, you sort it out. You don't get rid of that player. If he wanted to do that, he should have done that with Xhaka as well. If he wanted to do the same,
Arteta's got to stick to his principles.
Yes.
What's the point in making exceptions for one player and another player? And you're saying Xhaka's incident was under Unai Emery. Arteta was nothing to do with the club then.
No, I do understand, but obviously it's all Arsenal.
But you obviously don't understand, Nitesh, because you're going back to Xhaka. The Xhaka incident happened under Unai Emery.
That does not matter. He did it to the Arsenal fans. It doesn't matter. If you're doing something to the Arsenal fans,
if a new manager comes in, he's going to get they're going to give the players a clean slate. What happened was under Unai Emery.
It doesn't matter.
Arteta's not going to. No manager is going to come in. I'm sorry. I'm going to put this to bed right now. Right? No manager is going to come in and go, "Oh, you diss the fans. Diss the fans. Right? That's it. You're instantly dropped." I'm sorry, but no manager's going to do that. Every manager is going to come in and give the players a chance, and then he's going to make his own decisions from then.
The guy who disses the fans has more issues, maybe probably mentally or whatever can be said, than a kid who is just saying that I want to win and is pointing a finger at a player who injured one of his teammates. I think the guy who disses the fans has a bigger problem in attitude than the kid who's actually fighting for the same club that he's playing for, wants to win.
Let's balance it, Nitesh. Let's balance it, right? Yeah. Don't forget, Granit Xhaka was getting a lot of stick from the fans, death threats on social media, and I'm not saying what Granit Xhaka done was right, but let's not forget that these same fans were giving him death threats on Twitter and threatening his family.
Yeah, I'm not saying that he should drop Xhaka, but I am saying if he's not dropping Xhaka, he should also give Guendouzi a chance rather than just sell him off, because this guy is a kid and he has talent and Arsenal needs him. If he can mold him into a better player, which he is said to be a good manager, he can mold him into a better player. He can sort it out.
Different situations. Granit Xhaka, Arteta was nothing to do with the club with the Granit Xhaka situation. Arteta was nothing to do with the club when that happened. So that was dealt with by the time Arteta arrived at the club. So you can't. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Yes, it was.
When Arteta arrived, everyone was saying that we don't want Xhaka in the team, but he said that I am giving him a clean slate, knowing everything, being a former captain. If you're doing that, I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm saying then a guy like Guendouzi also deserves a second chance. Why are you saying that I will take one guy in the team who can diss the fans, who can show the fans a finger, but can't get it?
Let's say this right, yeah. Let's be fair, right? Arteta gave Granit Xhaka a chance because he come back in and he knuckled down. He actually was really brilliant. And let's not forget though that when he come back in, the fans accepted Granit Xhaka.
No,
The
they did
fans
not.
accept.
That is
Yes,
why
they.
Arteta is-
No, yes, they did. When he come in, his first game, they didn't. They didn't diss him. They didn't diss Granit Xhaka. His first game, he come in and he put in a performance, and then the next game he done exactly the same thing, put in a performance, and he won back the fans. He won them back.
No, he did not. The same
Yeah,
fans who
yes, he did.
don't
Yes,
want
he
Xhaka in
did.
the team, they are still
Yes, he
dissing
did.
Arteta for that reason. Because why did the second thing was, even if they've calmed down because
Jesus
of Xhaka's
Christ.
good
This-
performances, the problem was again that he got the armband during the time.
Again,
this time,
Nitesh, again,
Yeah.
like, because you've got a vendetta against Xhaka, and
No,
this
it's not
is where
because of that.
you've got a massive vendetta against Xhaka. I'm not saying that Xhaka's good enough for Arsenal, but you have to look at it for what it is.
No, it's
Guendouzi, this situation with Guendouzi is still going on. We don't know. This was the Xhaka thing started before Arteta come in the club, and you can't bring that. You can't bring that over. You cannot bring that over when a new manager comes into a club. You cannot bring that over. But because you've got some vendetta against Granit Xhaka, because you don't want him at the club, you're using that to beat Arteta over the head with a stick. I'm sorry, but this is you've got to sort of think about the situation. This is what I'm saying, right? You don't see situations for what they are. Do you know what I mean?
He's a former captain.
He's
Arteta.
a former captain. It didn't work out. Great. It didn't work out. Again, it didn't work out.
He's a former captain. He's come in as the manager. He knows what the fans are for the club. And if he's giving a guy like Xhaka a chance after what he did, he definitely can retain Guendouzi. He shouldn't be trying to make things such that Lacazette and Guendouzi now have been transfer listed as well. He's trying to get rid of them because they have not been able to perform this season. But
Yeah, because they're not good enough. They're not good enough. Guendouzi's got an attitude problem.
Which can be solved. Which can be solved.
It can be, but we don't know what goes on in training. We don't see that. We don't, And on the pitch, Guendouzi was out of order. What he'd done, if he'd have showed that fight, and it's all about channeling that winning mentality into the right way. And for me, Guendouzi done it in the right way, and he's got to prove. I'm sorry, if I was manager of Arsenal when he'd done that, I'd do exactly the same thing.
He was one of the best against Brighton. The problem was the defense let him down. They let in 2 cheap goals. He was one of the best midfielders against Brighton. He did a smart thing. He did not react while the game was going on. After the game, he reacted, which was
he shouldn't have done that. He shouldn't have reacted the way he did.
No, he waited for the game to get over. Leno
reacted. It doesn't matter. He shouldn't have reacted the way he did.
He's bound to react.
If he was that bothered, he would have channeled it. He would. Do you know what I mean? You would.
He did perform on the pitch.
He should have done it. He should have done it when the game was on, because the way he should have done it was, right, okay, I'm going to play to my capabilities.
He did. Guendouzi was one of the best midfielders against Brighton, but the team gave away those cheap goals, and that is why we lost.
Okay, I've just come back, but yeah, with Guendouzi, sorry to interrupt, but with Guendouzi, he didn't help himself with doing what he did on the pitch, goading the opposition about how much they earn and how much he earns, and comparing. That didn't, and obviously Arteta doesn't like that mentality, so he's been punished for it, and rightfully so.
No, I said this before. A lot of people say a lot of things to get the other guy stirred up and make him react in a way that he probably will not.
But he hasn't got, as I said before to you last week, he hasn't got that mentality to carry it through, though.
No, what I'm trying to say is this is just the media trying to hype it up with that headline that, yeah, he said this, he talked about the salary, and Arteta gets easily influenced again. He can still sort out the situation with Guendouzi and not let him go. This attitude, if there is an attitude...
We don't know what was said. We don't know what was said.
We literally weren't there, and obviously he wouldn't take them. Arteta's a sort of man. He's a smart man. Let's not beat around the bush. He's a smart man. He wouldn't just take it the word of a newspaper. He knows newspapers and what the media's like. He's an ex-footballer, for crying out loud.
And also, the thing is, Nitesh, don't forget that there was no fans in the stadium, so Arteta would have heard what was being said. It wasn't. It wouldn't have got lost in the crowd or anything like that. So he would have been better placed to know what was said. Whereas, listen, I'm the first to say that the media blows stuff out of proportion. Of course they do. But
I don't have a problem with our player slagging off another player who was partly responsible for Leno's injury. I'm not saying it was a bad foul, but obviously you would be pissed. And as I said, Guendouzi played a good game. It's not that he was very poor in that game. He was one of the better midfielders in that game for us, and if not the best. So I don't think he made any. His performance on the pitch was poor. It was the defense that let in cheap goals again, and that is why he's bound to be frustrated.
goading another player saying about his salary, that's not the type of winning mentality you should be having as a club.
That's what I'm saying. Again, and that's what
that was under Arteta's watch.
Yeah.
The Xhaka thing is not under Arteta's watch, so you can't compare the two situations.
Exactly. I totally agree with you, Daniel. The Xhaka thing was the Emery situation. Was Emery? We can all admit Emery threw Xhaka under the bus and he fucked up. Don't get me wrong. Xhaka should have done what he'd done and reacted the way he did, but that he can't hold Arteta to account because he was nowhere near the club at the time. He was Man City's. He was still Pep's assistant at the time. That was a whole Emery thing. Whereas this Guendouzi situation, it's all under Arteta, and as Daniel's pointed out, it's an empty stadium. He would have heard what was said, and obviously instead of hooking him off and all that, he would have let him do. Obviously, with the substitutions he would have had available, just literally, you know what? I'll sort you out behind the closed doors, behind the scenes. I'm not going to make a big deal out of it now because obviously, again, media see that, latch onto it, and make an even bigger story than what they've already have. So he's done the right thing in that sense, and he's tried to do it behind closed doors. And it's someone, either in Guendouzi's party, i.e. his agent or someone that he knows in his setup, have leaked out information to cause a stir.
Yeah.
End of the day. Again, I don't want that mentality. If you're going to call shit, sorry, Daniel, if you're going to call shit at this club, but get out the door now. Because we don't need that at the moment. We don't need that at all.
Listen,
we need players
100%
committed.
I want to move on to the predicted lineups for tomorrow, because I think this we could have another debate on this all day long.
Yeah, sorry, Daniel.
No, it's all right. Listen, it was great. Listen, it's the beauty of live streaming. So yeah, listen, Simpy, just quickly read out the chat.
He dropped out of the stream.
He's coming back in a he's coming back in a sec apparently.
Oh, is he coming back in a sec?
Yeah,
all right. So Nitesh, I'll hand over to you if you read some of the chats out, and then we'll go into our predicted lineup.
Yeah, Ryan said that he probably scared Simpy, and Simpy was laughing about it. and Liam Damon is asking, Simpy fell asleep and fell off his chair. And Porter is talking about creating a Twitter account, and obviously you can follow us as well. And Liam is saying again, someone called 911 to Cambridgeshire, and that is, I think, for Simpy because he was saying that he fell off. And Sam Greenwood TV's Sam is saying it is the throat grab he has reacted to, but he's making it as bad or worse as Xhaka, and that is just not right for me. But fine. Before that, he somewhere said that he agrees with me on the Guendouzi situation for once. And yeah, Ryan, go ahead.
Also, just on that, obviously, throat grabbing thing. Obviously, Arteta has obviously seen it as well. And you mentioned obviously about the challenge on Leno. It was a bad challenge and all that.
Yeah.
Why didn't Guendouzi and the players react? All the players, not just Guendouzi. Why and all the other players? Why didn't they react in the moment at the time? Why did they leave it all to Leno? And why did they leave it till the final whistle went to show some fight? I mean, come on.
They did react, but obviously they can't react too much. Who didn't react? Literally, Leno
literally had to sit up on the thing he was being carried off on and have it out with Mopé. Everyone else was laughing and joking, hands around him and all that.
Not really. Initially, they reacted. Then the physios got to work, and one of the players who didn't react at all was Aubameyang. He was just standing there and watching. If you see the replay of the injury, he's one of the players who's not even moved or done anything. He's just standing there and looking at Leno. So if you saw the replay, initially they reacted, and they also reacted. Guendouzi was even pissed when Mope actually scored the winning goal, but he did not react. He controlled himself, and the reaction came out at the end of the game.
Even Sam agrees with me there. They didn't react because they're too feeble, but not.
Yeah.
But who reacted after the game was Guendouzi. But my point is, why did he have? Why did he wait until the end? Why didn't he react in the moment? That would have meant more. As a fan, that would have meant more. Because just touching back, I know it's going back years and years ago, and it's different teams and all that. The 03-04 season, away to Man United at Old Trafford. Van Nistelrooy got our captain sent off, falsely sent off, straight red.
Yeah.
And the aftermath was we saw how much the players cared in the moment. Not only in that moment they reacted and like berated him there and then, but then when he missed that penalty, they really got in his face and they really showed. And Ames even said at that moment he realised he was in a squad that everyone had each other's backs. Guendouzi doesn't have Leno's back, in my opinion. It was just because the cameras are there, just for show. It's all well and good doing it after the incident. Way after the incident, after we've just lost the game, you weren't doing it when we needed you to do it. And
So
that
if
for
you-
me,
No.
and the fact that he's gone up to someone after when everyone else was gone, he's still gone up doing whatever he's doing and grabbed someone around the throat. Again, Arteta can't reward that, so he's had to drop him. And whoever's in Guendouzi's camp has leaked that information that's tried to cause more crap within the club. And if that's the case, that comes out to be true. Bye-bye.
But how
Get out
do
the door.
you-
We don't need. We can't have people like that in our
No.
club trying to call shit
Listen-
when we're trying to go forward.
Listen, guys, I want to get onto the predicted lineups for tomorrow.
Good lineup, sorry, yeah.
So, like, listen, we'll put this debate on ice.
Yeah, sorry about that again.
No,
Yeah.
don't worry. Listen, it's been a great stream so far. Remember, guys, do fire them likes up and do subscribe to the Blind Gooner if you are new. I'd really appreciate that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go around each of you and tell me your lineup. So I'm going to come to you first, Ryan.
Obviously, the obvious one is Martinez will be in goal. Right back for me, Benjamin cannot be in this squad at all. Sorry. As I've said I did a watch long for the game in the aftermath. I said Cedric Suarez in 10 minutes did more than what Hector's done in a long time for this club. And I think it's only fair that Cedric or Ainsley gets a chance to prove themselves now in the right back position, because Hector isn't doing it. Since we've come back, he isn't doing it. He's still defensively, positionally unaware of his surroundings. Constantly, whenever I've noticed this when I go to games as well. Whenever we whenever we go to defend and someone's on the attack on that left-hand side, he's back. It gets to a point. As soon as he gets near that box, he starts pulling away and literally gives them all the space in the world, which means then the right side of centre back has to then cover cover what Bellerin's supposed to be doing in the first place, which then leads to a possible goal, because they're out of position themselves. I mean, he's not tracking their position either, because he's literally defensively unaware. Whereas Cedric is a right back. He's a European champion for his country as well. They might have fluked it, but that's it. That is the case. Ainsley Maitland-Niles isn't a right back or right wing back, but he does good in that position. He was until Bellerin came up. Bellerin came back against Chelsea early on in the season. He was doing a good job. So for me, I was slightly leaning towards Ainsley, just because of the pace. What you have a bit more pace about him getting back. In case he makes a mistake, he can get back a bit quicker. Centre back pairing to me, Mustafi and Louise are the only viable options we've got at the moment. Because Holt is still coming back. You can still see he's not quite where he needs to be. Left back, again, obvious, Kieran Tierney. Absolutely been outstanding in the last couple of games for us. Midfield, again, we have to stick with Xhaka. I'll keep Danny in as well, Ceballos. Give us that link between Xhaka, the defence, and the attack. I'll come back to the last midfield in a sec, but my front three would be Aubameyang in the middle, Pepe on the right, and Saka on the left. The last midfielder, I'd have to possibly lean towards Willock.
Ryan Torreira is fit as well.
Yeah, but he's only just come back from an injury. We don't know how fit he is, so I'd rather put him on the bench and give him last 20 minutes, 25 minutes in the second half.
He was actually fit after the Sheffield game, so just giving you an update on that.
Okay, but yeah, still, because we don't know how match fit he is, I'd rather give him a 25, 30-minute spell in the second half, because I don't want us to just put him in and he has a burnout or it calls. Say start him and he causes another injury and he's out for even longer. Whereas when we're just about to earn a massive amount of games, because obviously you've got Wolves this weekend, Leicester, the North London derby at the weekend, Liverpool, then City in the cup, then you've got Villa, Watford to finish off, possibly a final if we get past City. So it's all about using the squad we got right and sparingly, and I think. Yeah, he's been back since the Sheffield United game a week ago, but it's just using him, getting his fitness, getting him back to speed gradually, so we say. Because, we're playing every 2 to 3 days, we're playing a game non-stop. So you've got to, I'll say you'd probably be safe for the Leicester City game at home. That'd make more sense in the situation that we're in with this 2-3 days every other game. And yeah, Lacazette again, put him on the bench along with Eddie, because as I said, my front we all want out and out pace. Saka, a natural winger, Pepe, a natural winger, and Aubameyang, an actual striker in their positions, stretching that defence, using their pace to stretch that defence and cause problems.
Yeah. And Simpy, your team for tomorrow.
All right. Yeah, so Martinez in goal, obviously. Then definitely start Tierney, centre-backs.
Someone's got an echo.
Is it me? I've just joined.
I don't know. Someone's got an echo. I can hear my own voice talking, and yeah, someone's got an echo.
Better?
Yeah, there.
I think that's better.
Oh no, I can still hear myself.
Hello.
Yeah.
I still hear myself.
It's all right. Carry on.
All right. Is it me? What the heck? I'm not even. It's just.
No, it's Ryan. It's Ryan.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. Kieran Tierney, Mustafi. Rob Holding did look a bit shaky. Socrates looked a bit shaky against Sheffield United. So yeah, there's only David Luiz, even though that's another risk playing him. Right back, definitely not Bellerin. Got a feeling Cedric will start just because I've not seen him. I know people say don't look into social media, but you know, like when they post the game video, the match day video of when they're in the squad. So I'd go for Cedric. I know he was only played for 20 minutes and it was against Norwich, but yeah, I'd give him a try. Midfield, Xhaka definitely. Ceballos did well against Norwich and obviously got the goal when we got battered in the second half. He got the goal against Sheffield United. I think, like Ryan said, Torreira's probably not much fit, even though he's been like training and up to full fitness. So I wouldn't play Torreira. Up top, it's the good thing about having like our like wanted lineup is it's just going to be completely different to what Arteta actually plays. So I think, like I saw it in the chat as well, I think it was Tyrone or someone said it. It was to do with, so it was Aubameyang out left, Pepe out right, and then down the middle is Lacazette. So the reason why Lacazette is because obviously they've got big defenders like Bolly and Connor Cody and players like that who just get bullied kind of by Eddie Nketiah. So I think they'd put Lacazette in there just to hold the ball up and do like he did against Sheffield United, where he ended up winning as that penalty. So I could see I could see Arteta potentially using it that way, but I don't know. But personally, I'd go the same. Really, I want Aubameyang down the middle. So yeah, I'd go the same. Aubameyang down the middle, Pepe on the right, and then on the left Saka. But depending on what Arteta does, maybe he's thinking they're going to use like the Traore route. So in the 70th, 60th minute, when we've got tired legs and the game could be a 0-0 draw or something, bring on that Traore. So we could potentially have like an impact sub. The only impact sub we've really got is Saka, because I don't think Reece Nelson, in my opinion, is not really that much of an impact sub. And Nketiah could potentially be one to come on and replace. I don't know, he could replace whoever's on the left wing and then push out Aubameyang and play Nketiah down the middle. But yeah, I'd probably go for that. I don't even know if I've even described my 11. I've just gone on a massive gobbledygook. But hopefully you can make out something that I was saying in there. But yeah, that's what I'd go for. Yeah, like their formation, their midfield is really tough. Like I think Nitesh mentioned at the start of the video, obviously Neves is always up for a fight. Moutinho is always getting stuck in. Who else have they got? Dendoncker, is it? Dendoncker, I think.
Yeah, Dendoncker. He scored in the last game as well.
Yeah, and then obviously they've got the back line as well. Like I was mentioned, Bolly, Cody, Johnny, Doherty. Yeah, exactly. So they're really fast, strong centre backs and wing backs. So yeah, I think if we can win that midfield battle, we've got a chance. But it is, I think, like Nitesh said, they've got the pace in the midfield where we haven't really got any pace because Xhaka and Torreira are quite slow. Ceballos is fairly quick, but I don't think he can match them physically. And yeah, like Torreira's just come back, and obviously Guendouzi and Ozil won't even be anywhere near the squad. So that's what I'd go for.
Disappointing. No, which I'm saying would be disappointing because we may need impactful substitutes.
Yeah. So I could see him bringing on. That's the thing. Who have we got? Like Nelson, Eddie, or Lacazette. Probably bring on like Socrates or something.
Matt Macy as striker.
Yeah, Matt Macy is striker. Yeah, get that, cross them balls into the box. He can head them because he's like 6'10" or something stupid like that. But yeah, that's what I'd go for.
Yeah, and Nitesh, your lineup?
I would again go with the 3-4-3. Martinez at goal. Left hand side, I would play Tierney. I would play center Rob Holding. And I would play right hand side, I think it's Mustafi. So that will be the back three because we need quick defenders. We can't play David Luiz against Wolves. They will run circles around him, kind of like they did at Manchester City. Just maybe a bit, two levels below Manchester City, but they will run around him. So we need quick people. Next thing is midfielders. I would go with left hand side, Saka. In the center, it will be Torreira at the base. And Ceballos, who will be doing the running box to box, and on the right hand side, it will probably be based on his last performance, maybe Cedric on the right, and up front it's going to be Lacazette, Aubameyang, and Pepe. Now, what will happen is this will be the best team. The only players that I would probably bring on, if they are in the squad, is probably Ozil at some point of time, Guendouzi at some point of time. I don't know whether he'll keep them, and even Xhaka at some point of time. But the thing is that we need to remember one thing, and even Kolasinac. So this will give us at least 4 options that we have out of the 5 substitutes for players. And the 5th one will either be Eddie Nketiah or Reece Nelson. So this gives us 5 substitutes as well who can actually make an impact. Because if he plays like Kolasinac at the start, he plays Saka at the start, he plays Lacazette on the bench, Lacazette is not delivering in a short time. He needs to start him. He needs to try out things. He needs to get him in their heads a bit. He needs to give him time. If he can't do anything, change him at 50, 55, 60, whatever time you want to change him, but start him so that he can at least give them a tussle or two, or at least get on their nerves and try to push them around. If you try to bring him for 20 minutes, he's not going to have any kind of impact. So you need to give him at least the start when they are probably slow, when they're probably still getting the flow of the game. And that is why even when I said against Manchester City, he needed to start the game. Because once Manchester City got into the flow, same thing, once Wolves gets into the flow, Lacazette will not be able to do anything. So if you get him on at the start, you give him for at least a half. If he does something, then keep him on. If he doesn't do something, bring Eddie Nketiah on at maybe the hour mark. But the problem with Arteta is he waits too long to make his substitutes. So hopefully he corrects that soon.
Yeah. See, I would have. Yeah, I think Martinez. Jesus Christ. You can tell it's Friday night. So yeah, I'd have obviously Martinez, and he hasn't put a foot wrong. Then probably right back or right, because he's going to play with wing back, Stuart. He's going to do that wing back thing, isn't he? For this system, he's not going to. He's not going to do a conventional back four.
Yeah.
So I'd have Suarez and Tierney as the wing backs, because they've been playing pretty well. The only thing is the central defenders probably would be. See, I'm not entirely sure. This is where I've got a bit of an issue, because I think he's going to put David Luiz in there. So I'm also inclined to put David Luiz in there, along with Holding and Mustafi. Yeah, Mustafi. David Luiz, Holding, and Mustafi. I think that's probably our best option. Then, like in the midfield, it's probably going to be Xhaka. And see, I don't know with Torreira. I think Torreira might come in, because he's quite a. Yeah, I'll probably do Torreira and Xhaka. Just because it is Wolves, and I think we're going to need, like, Torreira's a nuisance in the midfield, even though I know he's only just come back. He's just back fit, but yeah, I would stick him in there. He's a hard worker. Then the front three is obviously going to be. It's obviously going to be Pepe. Aubameyang's going to be out left, and I think Nketiah is going to be up front, the main one up front. I don't think, and then I think he'll probably replace Nketiah with Lacazette. So yeah, that would be my team.
One thing I just want to address in the chat as well, if Arteta plays Kolasinac from the start, I think he'll miss a trick, because Kolasinac needs to be brought on when Traore comes on. Because if, like as Daniel said, it's going to be probably David Luiz, Rob Holding, and Mustafi. David Luiz versus Adama Traore is going to get murdered. So if Traore is coming on in the second half, Kolasinac needs to come on for Luiz in the second half, or Holding, whichever is feeling fatigued, and the other one will probably take the central role. So he needs to save Kolasinac for the time when Traore is coming on. So it has to be in that system, so that he gets on Kolasinac at the point where Traore is in. Because if David Luiz is put against Traore, it's going to be City all over again, City 2.0.
Yeah. Okay, so let's go to score prediction. So Ryan, I'm going to come to you first. Your score prediction?
At this moment in time, I'm going to go 2-1 to the Arsenal.
Simpy, your score prediction?
I'm tied between two choices. I'm going for a 2-1 Wolves. Yeah, I don't want it, but that's what.
So what I'm saying, I just want to say simply one thing: if it's 2-1 Wolves, I hope Jimenez scores both the goals, because I have
this guy. This guy's more of a hater than me. Look.
No, I'm saying if it is
10.
2-1 to Wolves.
Yeah, see, he's just
Hey.
thinking of his fantasy football team. Jesus
Faith
Christ.
in
I
the
said
team.
if it is 2-1 to Wolves. I said if. That is, I'm adding to Simpy's point. But yeah, I think it's going to be 2-0 to Arsenal. They're not going to score a goal.
Pass the drugs, Nitesh.
I'm going for a 2-2 draw.
Ooh.
Desmond.
I'm going for a 2-2 draw simply because I think Wolves will score. I think they'll score 2, but I think the way we've been playing in the last 2 games, I think we'll just cancel each other out. And I think Jimenez will score 2 goals for Wolves, and Aubameyang will score both the goals for Arsenal. I think that's how it's going to play out. Yeah.
Simpy will enjoy the first one, Jimenez scoring 2 goals, but cry on the second one with Aubameyang scoring 2 goals because he dropped him for
I
Arsenal.
do. That's how I see it playing out.
But
That's how I
Simpy-
see it playing out.
Yeah, Simpy will cry in a corner if Aubameyang scores 2 goals because he dropped him for Rashford.
Oh my days. My captain.
Have you done your team? Have you, Simply? Have you done your?
Yeah, I've got it sorted.
Yeah, I'm yet to do
I
that.
haven't even
Yeah, I
looked
thought-
at my team. Have I still got time to look at my team?
Yeah, it closes
yeah,
at
yeah.
11:30.
Yeah.
When's it
11.
closed?
11:30 a.m.
Oh, okay, that's all right then. I can still look at it. Yeah. So Simpy, if you read out some of the chats and then we'll wrap up.
Yeah, Mr. Bungle's gone for a 9-0 Arsenal.
Love the option. Have the faith. Keep the faith.
Omar's gone for a 1-1. Tyrone's gone for a 3-2 Arsenal. Jonathan Port says, Ryan, I wish I had your optimism.
Mate, trust
And,
me. This time last week I had no optimism. I was like, oh, here we, because I was literally on that losing streak, and I was just like, oh god.
He probably saw your 2-1 and then I said 2-0 to Arsenal. And then he must be like,
He's like, what's going on?
And yeah, Sam Greenwood's gone for a 1-1 draw. And yeah, Jonathan Porter, Tierney will look after Traore. And
he can't do
face,
it on his own.
yeah, and face Doherty. Mustafi, Louise, and Klasinac will start at the back. Jonathan Porter, I think Torreira on the bench and will get game time so he can feature in later games as Xhaka will need a rest soon. And another funny comment from Jonathan Porter. Louise is due another sending off. It's been a couple of games since his last.
Don't, please, no. We don't
Yeah.
need
No,
that.
I'm telling you, if that guy is set up against Adama Traore and Doherty on the right, he's going off. He's definitely going off. Then the Arsenal fan shouldn't be blaming Luis about it because it will be a tactical switch off.
Oh, okay, what would you rather, Luis or Socrates?
No, I said bring on Kolasinac as soon as Traore is brought on as a substitute. That needs to happen.
What if Traore starting and Klasinac isn't? Then from the first minute, they're just like,
Bring him on in the fifth. Yeah, stand
bring
up
him
with
on
the-
straight. Yeah, as soon as the whistle blows, just kick out for a throw in and like Kolasinac on.
See, I'm telling you, Traore doesn't have the stamina to go on for the entire 90 minutes, firstly. Second thing is, he also hurt his shoulder in the last game before the game. So he's probably not going to again start. He's best brought in as an impact player, and that is what will happen again. So if Luis is starting, you need to keep Kolasinac there ready as soon as Traore is on, so that Doherty and Traore threat can be dealt by Kolasinac and Tierney combined, all three of them. We need all three of them to deal with that threat at that point of time because that is going to be their only outlet for goals. Jota is totally out of form. Neto can score long range shots. He can score screamers, but I don't think Arsenal is that bad. And in this formation, we won't give him that kind of space unless Xhaka sleeps off in midfield. That is a different thing. But the only outlet that they have for goals right now is the right wing. And if we can block that off, we have enough capable players. These three can actually hold them off. Kolasinac is physical as well. He can also try to compete with Traore. He doesn't have the exact same pace and the brain to compete with him. But with Tierney and Saka also there to help him out, the threat can be dealt with. And if there is no crosses coming in from that side, Jimenez won't score. As simple as that.
Yeah. Listen, guys, I think it's probably about that time to wrap up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around each of you in turn and just give your platforms a shout out. So Ryan, I'm going to come to you first.
Yeah, cheers. Obviously, I'm the host of the Mr. Arsenal podcast on this platform on YouTube. Tonight, Nitesh joined me, and we did part of my quiz. I had Danny from the Bergkamp Wonderland, Kenny Ken, Richard, Mike McDonald was a quiz master, and who else was on? I think now.
Sam.
Yeah, Sam as well. That was it. Sam. Sorry, Sam. Been a long day. Forgive me. No, but I did another fifth of my quiz. It literally, and the test will confirm it, went literally down to the wire between Kenny Ken, Danny, and Richard. Literally, Mike had to make a question up on the spot. Yeah, tiebreaker question on the spot, because I jumped into the last question and still got it wrong, and they're all tied. And then obviously I'm doing watch alongs, and again tomorrow I've got Richard and Kenny Ken coming on for that. And amongst that, I'm going to be doing previews and reviews as well from now on, and I'll hopefully if I can fit it in, and I've got the guests are available, I'll be doing a weekly podcast. So just literally catching up and talking about all things Arsenal, i.e. things like this week as Saka, Martinelli, the Luis situation with his new contract, and performances and things like that, and get more of them going. And yeah, and also my Twitter handle's on the screen, as you can see there, at Mr. Arsenal 89. Give me a follow on there, and if you want to come on my channel, just DM me and we'll sort that out as well.
Yeah, and Simpy, your platform?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, my Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram is Simpy141. Do weekly fantasy Premier League show with Nitesh, and then the odd guest comes on every so often. Do football videos and some FIFA videos as well. So come over and check me out if you haven't already. Thanks.
Yeah, and Nitesh.
Yeah, I just want to say a quick thing, like a short story kind of thing. Yesterday, I told a guy that why don't you just give an outro? And he started off the story with "Once upon a time in India, I was born" and all those things. And he went on and on and on. He was like, when I was a kid, I used to play cricket and football and all those things. And we were like watching him and like, okay, this was supposed to be an outro. So that was one funny incident that happened yesterday. Finally, after like around 7 to 8 minutes, I cut him off and said, thanks for coming onto the channel, and I will now go to the next guy. Anyways, so you can find me on Arsenal FC Fans, where I hosted one of the quizzes yesterday, and today the video was also there, which was of.
Sorry, I'm just laughing at that. I could just imagine you all sat there while this guy's going off on this tangent.
Yeah, he was talking about his entire biography in around 7 to 8 minutes before I cut him off. Otherwise, he would have gone on for another 10-15 minutes probably. So, and the other guys were looking at me because I was hosting the quiz. They were like, when are you going to stop him finally? And unfortunately, there isn't a private chat within the private chat. Otherwise, they would have probably messaged me, and I didn't check my WhatsApp at that point of time. So he went on and on for like around, as I said, 8 to 10 minutes. So as I was saying, that video is also on Arsenal FC Fans when you get into the quiz. And if you watch that video, you'll probably find that guy as well there. So if you want, you can fast forward that part towards the end. And yeah, you can also find the quiz that we did with Ryan today on the same page, and planning more things on the page as well. Quiz contest with Daniel as well, which let's see, we can hopefully get it on soon. And you can also follow me on Beyond the Post on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube as well. And I have a website called beyondthepost.net, where we post written content daily on cricket, football, and even WWE at times. Thank you.
Yeah, so listen, guys, it's been a great show, and thank you all for coming on. Remember, guys, don't forget tomorrow the watch along for the Wolves v Arsenal game. It's going to be a great game with lots of great guests on the panel. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, remember, do subscribe to the Blind Gooner if you are new to the channel, and do smash the like on the video, and do go and watch all the other content that's up there, and share it around. I'd really appreciate that. But listen, until tomorrow, we're all going to sign off. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for a great discussion in the chat. You guys have been brilliant as always. And yeah, until tomorrow, goodbye. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.